What is going on, everybody? Stupid Console Gamer here again, and welcome back to another video. This time being on the sort of stuff that I bought at this year's Game On Expo, which is held at the Phoenix Convention Center every year. And if you don't know what Game On Expo is, it's basically the largest convention in the Southwest revolving around video games, anime, everything and anything pop culture related. And I was there with two of the best people in the world that past weekend, Rugalia Designs and Nacho Cheesy Boy. Both of their links to their Instagram will be down in the info section below, and also Nacho Cheesy Boy's YouTube channel. All three of us just had such a fun time being there. I mean, we saw rarities that we normally wouldn't see out in the wild. I bought a lot of things, man. I'm really happy with the stuff that I got, and so did Nacho Cheesy Boy, which funny enough was his first time being at the convention ever, and it just, again, we had such a blast, and I cannot wait to go back again next year. But without further ado, let's get into the stuff that I bought. Alright, to start off with everything that I got from Game On Expo, I'm gonna start off with the import games that I bought over there. And usually I never buy import games, but they were priced so decently, I just thought to myself, why not? You know, at least I own a physical copy of the game, whereas, you know, some of these, at least our North American versions, are just pretty pricey. Like, for example, House of the Dead for the Sega Saturn. The North American version, if I can recall, was like $600, $700, but I got this for $30. And now I just gotta find a Japanese Sega Saturn, which is probably not gonna be too easy, but you know, maybe in the future, if I have enough expendable income, I could probably get myself a Japanese Sega Saturn. But picked up House of the Dead. It was cool. Yeah, just thought it was neat. All right, kind of a double whammy here, but I also ended up picking up Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. And of course, just like with the Sega Saturn, I'm just gonna have to go find a Japanese Dreamcast somewhere. But in the end, it's kind of worth owning these, and also, to come to think of it, I might have to learn how to read Japanese. Now, if any of you have been following me on my Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channel for a while, you guys know that I'm just crazy about Resident Evil. Just anything and everything Resident Evil. So when I saw this at Retro Nation's booth, I had to get it. And this is what I think is the limited edition of Code Veronica that was released in Japan way back in 2000 on the Sega Dreamcast. So I'm just pretty glad to own this unique version of the game, and thanks a lot, Retro Nation, for just giving me this copy that was just sitting there. Now this game, I just saw the cover of the game and I just thought it was really cool, but it was Space Channel 5 for the Sega Dreamcast. If you put this up to a certain light source, the case will sparkle, and it's pretty cool. Even the side label actually sparkles, so glad to own this game. Now, something that's actually not import that I bought was Web Browser 2.0 for the Sega Dreamcast. I actually have Web Browser 1.0 on my shelf somewhere. I'm glad to have a 2.0 version of the web browser, so hey, it's pretty cool. And I got it for like $5, so it's pretty cheap. Now, last but not least, of all the Sega Saturn and Dreamcast games that I got over there, I got Phantasy Star Online, and apparently this is factory sealed. And I got this from 1UP Games over there at Game On Expo. It's even got the original price tag on here, which was $54.99. I spent $80, so it was a little bit of an uptick in price, but that's not too bad. So now with all the import games out of the way, I can finally talk about all the NTSC North American games that I got at Game On Expo. And funny thought, actually, I made myself a promise that I would buy more PS1 games, but again, I just bought all this mishmash of stuff that you normally wouldn't see out in the wild. And I did buy one PS1 game though. That is Inuyasha and a Feudal Fairy Tale. And this seems like a unique anime fighting game, and I do like Inuyasha, the anime, so I might give this a try when I have the chance. It seems kind of fun, so I'm just glad to pick this up for a very cheap, very good price. So yeah, Inuyasha. So with Inuyasha out of the way, I also got some PS2 games and even an original Xbox game here that I want to show you guys. I don't know if these games are actually related. I would have to do a lot of research, but I just saw the title Saga written on them, and it's Unlimited Saga and Romancing Saga. Seem like interesting titles. I definitely will take the time to go through and try each and every one of them once I find out which one to start with. But yeah, Romancing Saga and Unlimited Saga. Funny enough, these games are actually sealed, so I got these for a fairly good price too on both of these. So with those games out of the way, here's a game that I've been trying a long long time to get ever since the retro gaming market has just been completely out of whack ever since the pandemic. And that one game is Silent Hill 3, and man, I still can't believe I own a copy of this game. I mean, the discs are literally minty fresh, and even includes the soundtrack disc as well. The manual is in fairly good condition as well. I mean, I paid, if I remember correctly, I paid the guy like $180 for this, but I was actually gonna buy this game last year, and funny enough, it was the same booth that was at Game On Expo last year, and I'm really happy I have this game. It sucks that I had to spend $180 for it, because a couple years ago it used to be like a $20, $30 game. Finally try out Silent Hill 3 and see what all the hype is about. Now, when it comes to original Xbox games, I was not planning on getting any, but when I saw this game at Bookman's, the Bookman's booth at Game On Expo, I had to get it. And it was for a very good price too. And that is the Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Director's Cut. Now, you might be asking yourself, SCG, don't you already own the game? Well, yeah, I do. It's actually back on the shelf, but this is the Director's Cut. I mean, this is a lot different from the PS2 version, which even on the box it says that the Director's Cut includes a brand new FPS mode, a new survival mode, enhanced graphics and sound, plus an array of newly added features to the unique camera weapon, which is the camera obscura that you use throughout the game and pretty much the entire franchise. That's like the one weapon you have to fight off the ghosts in the game, making it the most chilling game to date in the Fatal Frame series, which Fatal Frame 2 is my favorite. This was the game that got me into the franchise. Yeah, I'm really glad to own this copy of the game and add it to the collection. So with all the original Xbox and PS2 games out of the way, I can share that I got a PS3 accessory from Game On Expo, and I really needed a new PS3 controller because my original controller unfortunately got a little messed up. It just stopped working. I even tried repairing it myself, opening it, but it still didn't work. So I'm just glad to own a new PS3 controller and add it to my growing collection of PS3 stuff. So yeah, brand new PS3 controller. And with that PS3 controller out of the way, I can finally share some of these other games I got here, such as Dead Rising 3. Funny enough, this was priced at $15, but I got it for $10. And hey, I can live with $10 for a game like this. I have played Dead Rising 1 and 2, but I've never played 3, so I'm gonna see what all the hype was about way back in 2013 when this game dropped. So yeah, I'm glad to own a copy of this game. Next up, in terms of Xbox One games I got, and this one was probably the cheapest out of all of them, it's Titanfall 2. Now, I heard a lot of good things about Titanfall 2. I heard it definitely was a step up from the first game. I played a little bit of the first game, didn't think it was all that great. I've heard the story mode for this game was really good, so I'll definitely give this game a try too, and we'll see what all the hype is about. Now, I was not expecting to pick this game up, but it was kind of just sitting there in a pile of games that I saw at this one guy's booth. That game is Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE for the Nintendo Wii U. Boy, I do not like the Wii U at all, guys, but I just saw this game. The guy gave me a fairly good price for it too, and surprisingly it's also factory sealed. This might be the first Wii U game I've ever owned. Something I wasn't going to collect for, but I might start collecting a little bit of Wii U games just to have on the shelf. And now we finally get to the meaty chunk of the stuff that I bought from Game On Expo, which is mostly just PlayStation 3 games. So the first PlayStation 3 game I got from Game On Expo was BioShock 2. And I have BioShock Infinite on my shelf, I just didn't have number 2. And surprisingly, this was also factory sealed. I don't know if this was a part of the collection that came out a couple of years ago on PlayStation 3, the Rapture Edition collection or something like that, but yeah, this was factory sealed. I actually got this from the House of Used booth, both this game and Titanfall 2, so shout out to the House of Used for having some pretty great prices and cool finds over there. So yeah, I finally own BioShock 2. Another game that I got from Ricky Games was a Realm Reborn Final Fantasy XIV, and I didn't have this one in my collection, and I remember just back then all the hype for 14 and all the highs and lows for it, so I'm just glad to add this game into the collection as well. Now here are some PS3 games that I've been looking for quite some time, and that's the Sly Cooper HD Collection and Sly Cooper A Thieves in Time. I had the opportunity to pick these games up a couple of years ago, but for some reason I never did. And then after the whole PSN shutting down thing last year or the year before that Jim Ryan was planning on doing, these games shot up in price. Well, actually most of the HD collections that are on PS3 just shot up in price. This one included, and Jak and Daxter, I think, which is the next game I'm gonna try and find. Yeah, I got these games finally, and I've only played the first game, so it's gonna be nice to go and play through the second and the third game, as well as the last Sly Cooper game we've ever gotten from Sony. So yeah, I just can't wait to play through these games again. Really glad to own these. Now for the last PS3 game I got here, I actually got this at the same booth where I got Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and as well as Sly Cooper HD Collection and A Thieves in Time. It was Resident Evil Revelations for the PlayStation 3. I played maybe a little bit of it years ago on the 3DS, but never got around to just playing it fully. I think on the 3DS it was just the demo version I was playing on it, and it looked pretty cool, but it definitely wasn't worth, you know, spending a lot of money just to play one game on the 3DS. So I'm glad Capcom was able to port this game over to other consoles like the PS3, 360, Wii U. Later it was like the Xbox One and PS4, I think, and even on PC too. So I'm just glad I own this game and I can start playing it and see what all the hype was about, because I've heard the Revelation series was really good. But yeah, Resident Evil Revelations. Now with all the other games out of the way, I can finally share the one game that I picked up at Game On Expo that was unexpected to me when I was just walking around each and every booth, and I saw this game and I just thought to myself, I need to have it because this was one of my favorite childhood games growing up. Playing this game on the Game Boy Color, and that was Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, and I got this for quite a good deal from the guy that was vending right across from Rugalia Designs' booth, and it's in such good condition too. I mean, wow, I'm just glad to own this game, and now I just gotta find my Nintendo DS somewhere, or my Game Boy Color somewhere in one of my boxes, my closet, so I can play this game. But funny enough, this was actually my very first exposure to Mario Brothers in general. Again, I'm just really happy to own this game. Now with everything out of the way, I can finally share the one thing I've been very excited to share with you guys. And me, Rugalia Designs, and Nacho Cheesy Boy were just not expecting ourselves to do this, but we just did it anyways. And that was to meet Nolan North and get our games and our pop figures signed by him. I mean, man, I still cannot believe I got this autographed by Nolan North, and I'm meeting him and talking to him. He is such a nice guy. Funny story, I was wearing my Ape Escape shirt on the very last day of the convention, and I was getting this pop figure signed by Nolan North. He saw my Ape Escape shirt and he was like, that looks familiar. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, it's just an old PlayStation game from '99, kind of like a super niche Japan Studios game. And he's like, Dr. Tomoki. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, I voiced Dr. Tomoki in Ape Escape. I was like, what? What? You did voice work for Ape Escape? What? Whoa, okay. After our interaction, I just had to look this up and see voice acting the first game or just the second or the third game, and turns out he voiced Dr. Tomoki in Ape Escape 3. That was just unexpected to me. I just did not expect him to say that at all, man. That was such a cool memory I've gotten that weekend at Game On Expo. Just wow. Even with that pop figure signing and just even talking to Nolan North was cool. Something even cooler arrived in my mailbox, and it was something I wasn't expecting to just come so soon. I thought it would take even longer, like maybe a month or two, but Mondo has been so good with their reprinting efforts. I finally got my hands on the Silent Hills 1, 2, and 3 official soundtrack on vinyl. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't get 4's soundtrack. Well, 4 is okay. I've listened to a little bit of the soundtrack, but it's not my favorite. I'm really glad to own Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 on vinyl. I've been trying a long while to get these, but scalpers have just made not only my life hard, but every other Silent Hill fan's life harder just trying to get one of these vinyl albums. And I finally got it in the collection, so I'm very happy with that. And that's pretty much everything I got at this year's Game On Expo. If you guys liked what you saw in this video, please give this video a like, dislike if you dislike it, subscribe if you want to see more pickup content like this in the future, and also comment down below if you were at Game On Expo, what was your best pickup and why? I would love to read your guys' comments down below. And again, that's pretty much everything that I got at this year's Game On Expo. I will see you guys in the next video. Stupid Console Gamer out.